Hello, and welcome to Melomaniax, the podcast where we take unbiased deep dives into the biggest musicians and artists of all time. I'm Ashton.
And I'm Dallas. Before we get into today's mammoth topic, please take a quick moment to subscribe and like on YouTube if you're listening to us there. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram. Those are the socials we keep the most updated. You can also message us there. And please drop those 5-star ratings on Apple and Spotify or wherever you're listening to this podcast. That's going to help us keep the show growing. And, you know, just us keeping this thing going, right, Ashton?
Exactly. And to help
we
keep
also
this
have a
thing
Patreon.
Going, yeah, the Patreon.
And that's officially live. There's one tier, $5, really simple. And that's going to get you access to our private Discord where we share all sorts of funny news links and things and music goodies. And shout out on an episode. And the ability to kind of vote and pitch your ideas for what you want to hear on the show. So that's what we're offering there. Now, today's topic, we just got finished doing the 500 greatest songs, which ended up being a two-parter. So we thought it'd be good to go ahead and do the 500 greatest albums, which is also going to be a two-parter. If not more. But we're going to shoot for two.
Shoot for two. Lots of content. We'll probably do a little more talking individually on some of the albums than we did on the songs.
Right.
So
now, before we started, you were telling me you discovered some information about how they voted. Do you want to share that with everybody?
Yes, because I do believe we had talked about it a bit on the 500 greatest songs. So I believe the 500 greatest songs and the 500 greatest albums share the same voting process of they take a bunch of journalists, I assume highly I don't really know the pecking scale of journalists in the musical, but I guess they pick some of the top journalists and then they just do a big vote among all kinds of artists across all the genres. They used the exact quote from Beyonce to Taylor Swift to the members of U2. So it sounds like it's just a big census of the actual members within the music industry. So I guess it's no fan input, really.
I figured that.
So that's no fan input, no sales input. So this is just the opinions of the music industry, basically.
Wow.
So that makes it interesting. That definitely adds a little more explanation to the order of some of the songs that we saw, I believe.
Now, at this time, let's cast our predictions for number one. And then, as we did last time, we may revise them as we get going.
Oh, man. See, this is one where Thriller, I do believe, is a top 5.
Thriller's what I was thinking. Also, something by the Eagles, maybe.
Yeah, Eagles' greatest hits.
And Queen.
I know you said it's going to be up
self-titled, there. I think, is... And what we're talking about now is all sales. So I don't know if that... I mean, that should also translate to just good, I think. Stuff that's good tends to sell more. So, I don't know. One of those. I don't know that I have a prediction for number one at this time. Let me think.
Yeah, if I did have to, I think Thriller's good because it scratches a lot of genres, it feels like. And it was pretty relevant for the time, pretty relevant now. Thriller, I feel like is a good
I know what I'm going to go. I know what I'm going to put. I'm putting Dark Side of the Moon.
Dude, I thought about that one, but I was like, there's no way that they get number one. I mean, I would love to death.
If it's not number one, it's top 5.
I'm hoping it's a top 10. I'll be happy with the top 10. For that album.
All right.
But
well, without any further ado, you want to just dive in?
Yeah, let's dive in.
So you got Thriller, I got Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd, of course, and Michael Jackson.
I'm going to let you start it off because you said you're a little familiar with this band, and I am not.
Wow, okay. Throw me under the bus. 500, Arcade Fire, Funeral. I know a couple Arcade Fire songs, and I know they're, I believe they're a UK band. Kind of, they're kind of like, is it Snow Patrol? Is that a band?
I believe so.
That's not the band I'm trying to think of, though.
Oh, you're trying.
There's a band I associate them with where they sound.
Arctic Monkeys, maybe?
Arctic Monkeys. Boom. You nailed it.
Okay.
They're kind of like that.
Okay, I got you. So
kinda,
like an
kinda
alternative
indie pop,
poppy I don't know what that genre is called, but it's a genre. There's a couple of bands. We could just call it
indie, alternative indie. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we kind of skimmed through a little bit of the first 20 here, everybody, and we didn't know a whole lot of them, so we're gonna zoom. Yeah, we're gonna zoom by the ones we don't know. Oh, by the way, this Arcade Fire Funeral was 2004. I want to say
2004. Okay, yep, with the year. Yep. So 499 is
so yeah, we're going to kind of move quickly through the ones we're not as familiar with and maybe spend a little more time on the ones we are passionate about.
And if we pass over one that you're familiar with and you enjoy and we just moved over it, let us know. We'll go back.
Hit us up because we'll add that to our list to do a full episode on.
Yeah, we love diving into anything. So new music is awesome. But $4.99, Rufus Chaka Khan, Ask Rufus, 1977.
Chaka Khan. I don't know. I mean, I know some Chaka Khan songs. I don't know which ones are on this album.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not familiar with the album specifically.
That was on 1977. I don't know if you said that, but that's the year that one came out. Another thing I was just thinking before we really get started is just when you think you know a lot of music, you don't know anything.
Right? It always happens.
That's the thing that this podcast is teaching me the most, and I love it. All right, $4.98, Suicide. And the album is called Suicide. That was also 1977.
Suicide. We gotta look it up. We gotta look it up, bro.
Hit the trifecta. This is something we always do. By the way, it says this duo, Suicide, would influence bands from Arcade Fire and The National to Bruce Springsteen, who covered Suicide live in 2016. So shout out to last week's episode.
Right? Oh no, they do not have a song called Suicide on that album. Damn.
So just a self-titled album. Okay.
Yep. Moving along. Right. $4.97, various artists, The Indestructible Beat of Soweto, 1985. I am not familiar at all. This is. Do we take issue with various artists being included on here? Come on. Oh, okay. I'm reading underneath. So it's a compilation of South African pop, and I don't know if you've listened to Paul Simon's Graceland, but he recorded that in South Africa. And I'm assuming that if that's what it kind of sounds like, this would be a good album then. But I wonder if it does actually have it looks like it actually has a couple of tracks of the group that worked with Paul Simon.
Play with him. Yeah. And this was 1985. Now we have to decide right now, compilations and various artists and greatest hits. I mean, do those belong on this list? It's kind of like
it looks like they do.
It's kind of like the modern LA Lakers. You know, you just buy up all the best players in the team, and you have the best team. It's like, do you really have the best team, or you just have the most money?
We'll see. But also, I'm not sure how big the South African music market is. So a compilation album might just be all of their biggest hits. You know what I mean? Like,
true.
I don't know. Like,
all right. Well, moving on. $4.96, Shakira. Oh, God. Okay. I always get the ones where I have to take a stab at a foreign language. Right. Donde están los ladrones?
I think you nailed
1998. I think I messed up. Ladrones. I don't speak Spanish that well. But anyway, Shakira, one of your favorites, 1998.
Yeah, I'm not.
Sporting some intense hair in that.
Yeah, I was going to say she got some curly hair in that one. That might be.
Looks straight up like dreadlocks.
Is that a debut album of hers? I'm not sure.
1998.
That's pretty early. But right. Following $4.95, Boyz II Men 2. I guess that's how you would say it, just 2. But
I guess so. Two eyes.
1991, Motown.
Nice. Love the Boys. Love Boyz II Men. $4.94, the Ronettes presenting the Fabulous Ronettes, 1964. Wow.
Jeez, that's the most 64 hair I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, you're right.
$4.93.
It looks like a how-to video on how to just come home and please your husband.
Oh gosh. It's got the curl. It's like it's like a foot high on top and then goes down into the curls on the shoulder. I don't know if everybody's like putting that picture together with the bangs too.
Yep.
$4.93, Marvin Gaye on here. Here, My Dear, 1978. Another Motown album.
Very nice. $4.92, Bonnie Raitt, Nick of Time, 1989. Really cool little logo there for her on the cover.
Yeah, that is pretty neat. The B&R.
Very simplistic, like calligraphy style.
Right. $4.91, Harry Styles, Harry's House. This came out just recently in 2022.
Yeah, interesting. What were the songs on here? Music for Sushi Restaurant, Satellite, Matilda, As It Was. That was the hit, and that was actually number 500 on the 500 greatest songs, I believe.
That's right. I know.
$4.90, Linda Ronstadt, Heart Like a Wheel, 1975. If I remember correctly, Linda Ronstadt's band in the studio was the Eagles, and they went on from there to form the Eagles.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
Let me confirm while you bring on the next one.
489, Phil Spector and various artists, again, back to mono. So it's 1958 to 1969, but this was released in 91. So I'm trying to figure out I guess that's part of the song title. It says back to mono 1958 to 1969. But that came out in 91, nice. And I am not familiar. I feel like I know the name Phil Spector, but
Oh, Phil Spector's the guy that went to prison for murdering someone or something.
That's right. So he's just the producer over this album.
Very, very famous producer. Yeah.
That's right.
Infamous. Yeah, okay. Confirmed. Another backing band included, and then the guys from the Eagles who went on to form the Eagles after they played with Linda Ronstadt. Very cool. All right, that's back to me, I guess. 488, The Stooges. The Stooges, 1969. I think it's safe to say they do not have a song called The Stooges, so.
Yeah, right.
But,
The Stooges. Yeah, that I just don't think they'd be able to get away with that. 487, Black Flag, Damaged, 1981.
Nice. A little bit of Henry Rollins makes the list. 486, we get the first one that is one I'm crazy familiar with, and that's John Mayer, Continuum, 2006. Just a top to bottom, a perfect album. It definitely has a place on this list. Whether it's 486 or higher, we could debate all day, but I'm glad to see some John Mayer on this list. He has a really good way of crafting albums, not just songs, and songs as well. And then you and I played Bold as Love a lot from this album as well, which is a Jimi Hendrix cover.
Yeah, I like this album a lot. I do like the new album too. I've been liking the all
of his albums. He doesn't have any real misses. He's got some weaker songs on some albums, but every album's got something I really, really like.
Yeah, I think Vultures is my favorite song.
Another thing I give him credit for
from Continuum
is so good. Another thing I give him credit for is evolving. Every album he does something new, tries something different, radically different than what he's done in the past. So
yeah, that always seems to be something.
This last one was kind of like 1975-ish. It was really cool.
Yeah, that always seems to be something that you enjoy, particularly with musicians, is growing or showing growth.
Yeah, for sure. My favorite song off this album is In Repair.
In Repair? That's a good one.
Yeah, which is, I didn't know it until I researched it a long time after I discovered it. It was a song in a day challenge they did. They just went in a studio, 3 of them, and just came up with that, and it was done in a day.
Oh, that's awesome. Kind of like the 24-hour.
Like, what are we going to play to like the full mix? Like,
yeah, it's like the 24-hour challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to do something like that again.
So 485.
Especially now we got this podcast.
Right? 485, Richard and Linda Thompson, I Want to See the Bright Lights Tonight. 1974.
There we go. 484, Lady Gaga, Born This Way, 2011.
Definitely remember this one.
Yeah, there's a version of the song Born This Way. I think it's called the Country Roads version.
Mm-hmm.
That is legitimately amazing. It sounds like Guns N' Roses, kind of. Like,
really?
Super
I'll have
good.
to look at the
regular song is kind of just fist pump, EDM style. Then that version is like harmonicas and slide guitars, and it's all halftime. So it's like really, really
the halftime would be so
amazing
good.
sounding. Yeah, it's so cool. I've discovered that, and I was like, all right, I'm in. I love this song.
All right, 483, Muddy Waters, The Anthology, 2001. So I assume that's a greatest hits, right? If it's The Anthology. Or
2001, yeah, he was a guy in like the 40s. Right. It says.
So what is the difference between like a compilation and anthology?
I think they're just different words for the same thing.
Okay, it is just synonyms, I guess.
And I always get the ones I can't say. 482. Ugh. The Far Side. I mean, I guess that's how you would say it, but it's spelled like Pharaoh, Phar, and then side like Cyde. Far Side.
Far
Bizarre
Side.
Ride 2.
Yeah, that's the Far Side. Bizarre Ride to the Far Side.
Don't know it.
What a title. It looks a lot like just some early 90s rap. Oh, it looks like some Southern California rap. I bet it's good, actually.
It says they were
De La
West Coast
Soul.
answer.
Okay.
It says they were a West Coast answer to
De La Soul
and a Tribe Called Quest. So,
all right, I'm familiar with De La Soul, so I'm sure their music's
kind of like
good.
An answer to that,
Yeah. So 481, Belle and Sebastian, If You're Feeling Sinister, 1996. Not familiar. Looks like Scottish music or Scottish singers.
480, Miranda Lambert, The Weight of These Wings. That's 2016.
2016. That would have been like her probably third album, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I think she might have. Maybe she was around longer than that. I don't know. 2000s though, for sure, right?
For sure. I thought she came around like the early 2000 or oh no, I'm thinking of someone else actually. I was thinking of somebody who started around 2010. So no, this would be a much later album. 479, Selena, Amor Prohibido, 1994.
Yeah, Selena was like she was like the Latin Taylor Swift of the 90s. She was just insanely famous. And then I believe she ended up getting murdered by a fan.
Yep, she did when she was 23. So I wonder which album this is.
That sucks, because she would have definitely still been alive doing awesome stuff.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
478, The Kinks, Something Else by The Kinks, 1978. Something Else was a commercial flop that nearly killed the band.
The title is hilarious. Something Else by The Kinks. They just like were forced to just put something out there. And after all the stories we've, talked about on the channel about recording studios, and labels, I kind of wouldn't put that past them. Like, all right, put out some music, and they're like, well, nothing's come to us. Well, you have until this date to release an album. Then you get a band that's like Something Else by The King. Here's something else.
Exactly.
That might not be the story, but that's just how I imagine it in my head.
I like it.
Especially since you said it was a commercial flop. It just sounds like it. But 477, Howlin' Wolf, Moanin' in the Moonlight, 1959. What a interesting album art. It's just it's very cool. It's not what you would expect out of a 1959 album. Basically, this looks like it'd be like a train sucking album or something. Album art.
Yeah, it kind of does. You're right. 476, Sparks, Kimono, My House. 1974. Not sure that makes sense.
Yeah, not familiar with that one. 475, Sheryl Crow, 1996. Well, I'll go ahead and assume there's no Sheryl Crow song.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. I would actually like to go back and listen to this song because she's a absolutely phenomenal vocalist with a ton of like rock in her voice. She's come out on a bunch of Guns N' Roses gigs and sang with them.
Oh.
474, Big Star, #1 record. That's great.
Nice.
I doubt that plan panned out, but it's an A for effort there. 1972.
They tried. 473, Daddy Yankee, Barrio Fino, 2004.
That naming your record #1 record reminds me, I saw this meme where a soccer team named their team No Game Scheduled. Because if the other team didn't show up, they forfeited and won. He said it worked like half the time.
That's awesome.
He said everyone hated them and they were like #1 in the league.
That's hilarious. No game schedule. Oh, man.
472, SZA. I'm going to choose to pronounce that SZA. Control, which is just CTRL. 2017.
She showed up on the top 500 songs, I believe. And you also got her and had to attempt to pronounce her name.
Man, I can't do it.
471, Jefferson Airplane. So the earliest iteration of name. Surrealistic Pillow, 1967.
Wow.
Goodness.
470, Juvenile, 400 Degrees. Of course, Degrees is with a Z. Of course, it's called Cash Money Records. And of course, it came out in 1998. And of course, the album cover's hilarious.
Yeah.
So that one really just checks all the boxes.
That one is so nice. It's too 90s
just everything,
for its own good.
Everything you're thinking in your head is exactly right.
Oh, man. 469.
Somebody learned to use Microsoft Paint for the first time.
I don't.
I love that just everything's on fire for some reason.
Oh, up there. Yeah. Is it though? Or is it gold? Oh, it is fire.
It's everything.
Yeah, everything is on fire. It kind of blended in with the color scheme is just horrific to look at.
Anyway, you have to go look at Juvenile 400 Degrees that somehow made it to 470. All right, anyway, 469.
469. Manu Chao, Clandestino. Probably butchering that, every bit of that. 1998, Virgin Records.
There you go.
Born in Paris.
468,
to
the Rolling
Spanish
Stones.
parents.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was just reading because I was like, what? I'm trying to figure out where he's from. So he's French, but he's Spanish. So he was born in
Spain, Spanish.
Born in Paris, but had Spanish parents. Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Nice. 468, the Rolling Stones. Some Girls.
Okay.
1978.
This one has Beast of Burden on it, I believe. Yep, it does. Yeah, my favorite Stones song. And Miss You? Oh, both my favorite Stones songs are on this one. I guess this is my favorite Rolling Stones album, everybody. I just you all discovered the same time I did. Some Girls. 467, Maxwell, Black Summer's Night, sorry. Columbia Records, 2009.
Nice. 466, Black Ururu, Red. 1989. Probably didn't, or 1981, sorry. Probably didn't say that right, but I tried.
81. I'm trying to see who the members are. It's a reggae group. Let's see. Lee Perry. Oh, wait, no. Owing as much. Okay, so yeah. We went over Lee Perry in the Bob Marley episode. So this is just an 80s. So this is riding like the fame that Bob Marley had just brought. You know,
they look like they're having a good time on the album cover. It looks like they have different opinions on that photo shoot, but
one has a happy smiling face and the other two just look absolutely pissed off.
It looks like the last thing you see before you die, I think.
Yeah.
One guy's like looking at us through his eyebrows, you know?
Yeah. All right. 465, King Sunny Ade, the best of the classic years. Ade. 2003. So is this okay? Yep,
Man,
Nigerian.
A lot of greatest hits on here. That's a little disappointing.
Marketed as
it feels like you should have to pick an album, not a collection of an album, because at that point you're just saying the artist. Like do a 500 artists at that point. 464. The Isley Brothers is Isley. How do you say this? I've always wondered how to say this. I've never had to say it out loud. I'm going to say Isley, like Isley. Whatever. 3 + 3, 1973.
Maybe it's the Isley Brothers. I'm not sure.
It's definitely not Isley.
Yeah. 463, Laura Nero, Eli and the 13th Confession, 1968.
Dude, that straight up looks like a Billie Eilish album cover. I'm very surprised to see that in 1968.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was fully expecting to see that like 2016. 462, the Flying Burrito Brothers. I mean, just a truly amazing band name. The Gilded Palace of Sin. Wow. Wouldn't expect the Flying Burrito Brothers.
This is a good
to
album.
Put out the Gilded Palace of Sin. 1969.
It's good album artwork for anybody, you know. They really nailed it. Like their artistic expression.
Looks like they all came together and were like, guys, we don't need a look. Just wear whatever the fuck you want.
And the fact that they all had like, these. Okay. Yeah, the fact that they all had these in their closets.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We don't have to look like a band. Just look like 5 different guys. Also, we'll get 2 girls in the back.
Perfect. 461, Bon Iver for Emma, 2008.
I believe, I do actually know how to pronounce that one. I believe it's Bon Iver.
Iver? Okay.
2008. Yeah, I think so. Which also, I thought Bon Iver was like much older than that. I just have everything wrong, it seems like. 460, Lord, Melodrama, 2017. That is a really good album.
Was that the one that Royals was on?
Royals was on the one before this, I think. This one has Green Light.
Oh, okay.
Which I really like.
Ooh, this next album, really good one. 459, Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon, The End of the Day, 2009. This is the one that had Day and Night on it. Pursuit of Happiness. Really, nice. really good album. For anybody looking for a new rap album, if you've never heard it.
458, Jason Isbell. Great artist. Southeastern, 2013. Really good song. Cover Me Up is on that one. It was just a really great song. Morgan Wallen covered it as well.
What kind of music? Just a singer-songwriter?
Country roots.
Piano.
Yeah.
Okay, country roots. 457.
He's a killer guitar player and singer and songwriter.
This is Sinead, right? That's how you...
I think it's Sinead. Sinead.
Sinead?
Yeah.
Sinead
That's
O'Connor?
how I've always heard it, at least.
I do not want what I haven't got. 1990.
I do definitely not want what I have gotten.
Yeah, it's... I do not want what I haven't got.
Read when you finished reading that, my brain did like a double take. Like, whoa,
no,
what?
That was on purpose. Confusing on purpose.
But this one has Nothing Compares to You on it. So,
oh, true.
Originally just filler on a flop album, it became her signature song.
We've seen that happen a lot.
456, Al Green, Greatest Hits, 1975. All right. I mean, amazing, but I don't know. I don't like the Greatest Hits thing. I feel like that's kind of a little hack there.
Well, some artists are just better than some of their individual albums, I guess.
Some artists just manage to get one good song on 3 different albums or 4 different albums.
Yeah, I guess some people are better at writing. I guess people who are better at writing individual hits will see greatest hits, but artists that are better at writing albums.
But this is the 500 greatest what?
Albums. But
yeah,
those
so put
count
all these
as an
greatest
album.
hits on the song list or something.
They count as an album.
I don't know. I don't agree that a compilation counts as an album, I don't think. Because you didn't write it to be that way. You just 40 years later were like, I'll take this, I'll take this, I'll take this. And a lot of times they didn't even do it. It's the record labels doing it to try to cash in on some money after everything's kind of calmed down. I know for a fact that's what they did with Guns N' Roses. And I also know for a fact that I don't think anyone but Axl had any say in those songs being on it. Which is why the last half of their Greatest Hits album is so weird. You're like, what is it? This is not even a hit at all. Like this, like...
I don't know.
Anyway.
I just think it depends on the artist on if they're going to have a Greatest Hits album or a regular album show up. I'm not really upset at the Greatest Hits.
I just think if it's the 500 greatest albums, it should be albums, not compilations and greatest hits and things like that.
Yeah.
An album that someone wrote as an album, not that someone picked later. Yeah, amazing songs, amazing artists, but don't put it on the albums list.
455, Bo Diddley. Bo Diddley, go Bo Diddley. Let me reread that for everybody. Bo Diddley is the artist, and then the album is Bo Diddley / Go Bo Diddley. 1958.
I feel like you could have just named it Go Bo Diddley and saved some text there, because you're really not getting anything you didn't already get.
Yeah, right?
1958. Nice. Of course, Bo Diddley is amazing.
Yeah, he just really wanted everyone to know his name's Bo Diddley.
Bo Diddley. My name's Bo Diddley. Sincerely, Bo Diddley. 1968.
Yep.
454. This band is simply called Can. And not like Yes We Can, but like Green Bean Can. And,
yeah, good luck. Good luck.
Ega Bumyasi. I'm going to go with that. Ej Bumyasi. 1972. I don't speak whatever
they're
language
German.
that is.
Yeah,
it looks like they're German. Cologne, nice.
Germany.
Cologne's nice.
All right. Yeah, I don't have anything to say, but that album artwork is German.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
This is a good one. This is
453, 9 Inch Nails, Pretty Hate Machine, 1989. Yep, that's a classic.
452, Diana Ross and the Supremes, Anthology, 1974.
Nice. They've got some good songs.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder... I like how it's crazy that it says Diana Ross and the Supremes. That makes me think they added a couple of Diana songs, like some of her individual stuff, to the album. Otherwise, it could have just been the Supremes. Or... No, that's a greatest hits album.
It was always the same group.
I think that's a greatest hits album made after Diana Ross became the most famous, Because because the Supremes existed for a while, and they never went by like Diana Ross and the Supremes. You know, it was just the Supremes, just like, and then they split,
just like Bob Marley.
So it's weird that like the anthology album for the Supremes would be called Diana Ross and the Supremes when they never went by that. It was always just the Supremes until Diana Ross left and became famous individually. That's why I have an issue with it being called Diana Ross and the Supremes for their anthology album, because it should just be the Supremes.
Maybe it's maybe it's got some of her
songs.
Why
I was saying. That's why I was saying it must include some Diana Ross singles apart from the Supremes, which I don't know. Now I'm having issues with these greatest hits albums.
It's just annoying that like half of them have been greatest hits. It's like, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, can you write an album? Like, give me an album with their best song. Don't do the greatest hits. Oh, is it me or you? I'll go. 451, Roberta Flack, First Take, 1969. I like that. That's a cool cover.
Nice.
Oh, hey, nice.
Our first.
We are into the 450s.
Yep. And speaking of 450, we got. I don't think
us. I don't think we're getting to 250 today.
Right? Yeah. We'll go and then we'll decide where a good stopping point is. But 450, I don't think I've ever even heard of this album, any songs. But Paul and Linda McCartney, Ram, 1971. I didn't even know he wrote an album with his wife.
Well, I mean,
at the time, that's. No songs must have been hits from it, because I feel like
it's John Lennon and Yoko Ono, you know, because it's like, how much is she really doing? Like, you know,
I'd have to go back and look, because I don't really know much about Linda McCartney.
Looks like his fellow Beatles talk shit on this album too.
Do they?
John Lennon dismissed it as muzak. Ringo Starr said the lack of good songs made him, quote, sad.
Damn.
Sounds like a drummer.
What a quote from your friend on your album.
The most words the drummer can muster is I sad.
I sad.
It reminds me of that Family Guy bit where Ringo comes into the Beatles rehearsal and he's like, I wrote a song. And they're like, oh, Ringo, yeah, we'll put it on the fridge.
Yep.
Right here.
So good. So disrespected. But I mean,
so funny.
He was a good drummer. He didn't really write any of their big songs, though.
He wrote some songs for sure. I just don't think
I just don't think any of them really ended up being their big hits. And yeah, he does. I've seen some stuff and some videos that he's actually a much better drummer than given credit for. And there's some Beatles songs that you could feel pretty confident as a drummer and struggle just with the speed, consistency, and like. I'm trying to think of the word, but that it was just like the speed and consistency and some of his beats are a little more difficult than you like initially think. Like a lot of them are pretty simple, but I'd have to go back and listen to some of the songs where I was listening and I was listening and I was like, wait, it's like, wait, the hi-hats are like, he's doing something crazy on the hi-hats. You can't really hear it too well because the recordings are so bad from this time period, but he's actually pretty good on the drums. One of the drummers that's made fun of a lot, but yeah.
Him and Lars Ulrich, huh? But I don't know. I think it's one of those things where you kind of have to say like for the time, you know?
Yeah, it's always for the time.
Like he was amazing, and then everybody leaves out like for the time, and it doesn't take anything away from him, but like
no.
You put someone like Mike Mangini in the band, it's like, yeah, he can handle it. Like, it's not going to be a problem.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's just, I think some people just immediately are like, oh, the Beatles, like Ringo, everything they do should be easy. But that's not necessarily always the case.
And like same with like Phil Rudd from AC/DC.
Yeah, I think it's cool when you stand out in your time. That's what always looks good. That's like the same conversation with like who's the greatest basketball player of all time. Well, like Michael Jordan during his time, LeBron during his time. You know what I mean? Like right. It's hard to compare them because they can't be compared on the same axis basically. But I agree with you. I agree with you for sure. Because anyone that came after Ringo Starr was going to be inspired by Ringo Starr. So it's just you're building on something that's already like been laid, and you didn't lay it. You know what I mean? So there definitely is something to that. Yeah. All right. I believe it's your turn. 449, and it is a good one. This is my turn. You said? Yep.
449, The White Stripes, Elephant, 2003. This album's really special to me. I learned 4 or 5 songs off this album as the very first things I ever played on guitar.
Yeah, I always associate White Stripes with like good fundamental learning, like literally drums, guitar, and bass, like for songs. Like they're all pretty simple and you can learn them. And like they're good ones to, I don't know, they just like resonate. And I feel like, yeah, they're a good band to learn like new music.
I think I'm wrong. I think it was a different album.
Seven Nation Army,
of course, is on this one. Yeah. But I learned that one really fast and then moved on to like,
what did you learn?
Blue Orchid, Dead Leaves on the Dirty Ground, like those. But this song does have a song called Ball and Biscuit that's really, really cool that one of my students learned not too long ago.
Oh,
that's maybe
cool.
what I'm thinking of. But White Stripes in general, I learned a bunch of their stuff really, really early on. And this one has Seven Nation Army, so come on, like that transcends a lot of stuff. That's the 4th riff you learn behind Iron Man, Crazy Train, and Smoke on the Water.
Right. True.
It's just an essential guitar riff, which actually, funny enough, it's mostly on bass. It's not even really on guitar that much in the song.
Yeah, that's definitely like, I mean, you could play it on guitar, but yeah, it is definitely
he does the big chords and open chords and stuff, which is not how people learn it, but who cares?
All right, moving along. 448, Otis Redding, Dictionary of Soul, 1966.
And that was 448. I don't know if you said that or if I wasn't listening. 447, Bad Bunny, X 100 Pre, 2018. Wow, how
I actually like that album cover a lot.
That is really, it kind of looks like Tool, huh? But how, I was just thinking how album names have kind of sucked.
Yeah. I don't.
One before it's called Dictionary of Soul. Like, all right. And then X 100 Pre. Like, okay.
Yeah. And he, of course, is Hispanic. And I don't think that means anything in Spanish either. 446, Alice Coltrane, Journey into Sachidanada.
Sachidanada. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
1971. And I saw the name Coltrane. Of course, I think of John Coltrane, and I was reading through the thing, and that this actually is John Coltrane's wife.
Okay. That would make sense.
John Coltrane, one of, if not the most legendary saxophone players, jazz sax players. 445, Yes, Close to the Edge, 1972. I don't know this song. Album.
What do you think about Yes? I don't think I've ever talked to you about Yes.
Man, I only know the one song. What's it called?
The meme song.
Well, it's their biggest song by a freaking mile.
Roundabout. Yeah, I was just like, I got to get to the lyrics in my head.
Yeah, and that was
I can send
and they
you some
joke
stuff
about that in School of Rock as well. I know they're considered a progressive band and stuff.
Yeah, they kind of sound like Rush.
Yeah, Rush, Genesis, they all were kind of that kind of vibe, I think.
They have some good music. I'll send you some songs that aren't Roundabout that I like. It's from a different album. I'm not actually super familiar with this album, but there's another album of theirs I know by the artwork from a kid that I listened to a lot.
I forgot to say earlier, and I didn't even realize, but as we were going through the John Mayer album, I have the John Mayer signature guitar sitting right next to me.
Oh, nice.
I didn't even realize that.
Right.
All right, 444. I believe that's you're up.
Yeah, Fiona Apple, Extraordinary Machine, 2005. Why do I know
Fiona
that
Apple's
name?
one of those. Well, she's one of those artists I always think was in like the 60s and 70s, and then I remember she's in the early 2000s, and I'm like, oh, I'm wrong again. I'm just wrong about everything all the time, apparently. 443, David Bowie's Scary Monsters, 1980.
Huh.
I know you like David Bowie. Maybe send me some songs because I've yet to hear one that I like, really.
Yeah. I don't think you'll ever like him as a singer, probably.
Ziggy Stardust was in Guitar Hero, and I remember kind of liking that one. But
that's early. That was like his alias that he went by on stage was Ziggy Stardust in the beginning. Yeah, no, that music's good. I'll send you some stuff. I actually like I think some of the albums that I like will come up or higher up on the list. I personally.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'll point them out as we get to them. This next album, I'm a fan of 442, The Weeknd, Beauty Behind the Madness, 2015. This one was
there was one day
really good.
I think it was. Oh, look at that. Max Martin produces 3 tracks, including. Can you guess which one Max Martin produced? Is it the most famous one? It is. Yeah. He's just, and see, that's the thing. Like he did, all the 90s, Britney Spears, Backstreet Boys, and you would expect him to fall off and have his time, right? No. Continues through now, even producing number 1 hits. The only people that have more number 1 hits than him are Paul McCartney and John Lennon. And one of them's dead, and they're not really doing anything anymore. So he is definitely in a position. He's only like 1 or 2 behind last I checked. So he's definitely in a position to pass that and become the greatest or have the most number 1 hits of any writer ever. Which is wild because nobody knows who he is outside of music, really. So you can just go to the grocery store and get whatever. Nobody bothers him. And then go home to his mansion and be the number 1 song king of the world.
We'll have to keep tabs on him as the show goes along.
Max Martin, dude, I'm going to add that. Add that to our list. Because he is well worth a dive. Because the more music I learned about and stuff, the more I kept seeing his name pop up until I was finally like, who is this guy? And I did a little digging on my own. Let me see here. While you move on. Oh, the other thing I was going to say about The Weeknd was, I think it was the album after this one or something where.
I think this was his debut, wasn't it?
I think it was. Where you and I were hanging out, and we just listened to the album on repeat, like in the background of whatever we were doing. I have a distinct memory of that.
Yeah, Beauty Behind the Madness is that one. I wonder if it was Starboy, but
yeah, it was that one.
I'll move along. 441, Britney Spears, Blackout, 2007. I don't know if I know this album. I know more of her earlier stuff, I feel like.
100%.
Yeah. I'm familiar with the next one's artwork, or like the album cover.
Loretta Lynn, Coal Miner's Daughter, 1971.
Pretty famous album cover. I've seen that.
You think so?
Yeah, I've seen it I've seen it in music stores all over the place, like that album for sale.
I don't know if I've ever
but I don't think I've listened to it. I know she's extremely famous in country music, obviously.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So we'll have to add her to the list to dive in. Ooh, 439, James Brown's Sex Machine. What a classic. 1970. I love it. Love me some James Brown.
438, Blur, Park Life.
Really?
1994. It's quite the album cover there, huh?
Yep.
This of course is a shout out to our episode 2 of this show.
Right? That one got some
where we did scroll on down.
No way.
And another shout out to episode 2 of this show, 437, Gorillaz, Demon Days, 2005, man. which honestly I feel like should be a little higher than this, but that's fine.
Yeah, I'll take it. It's fine. But that is crazy that Blur and Gorillaz are back to back.
Back to back. That's crazy. Of course, the same guy behind both bands, Damon Albarn.
Yep. We talked a lot about. If you have any questions, go listen to episode 2.
Go listen to episode 2. We cover all of that, and you can actually hear us go way deep in depth on both of those albums.
True. 436, Tupac showing up. All Eyes on Me. 1996.
Mm-hmm.
Death Row Records.
435, Pet Shop Boys, actually. 1987. That album cover really stands the test of time. It looks really good. I like the way they named it that way. The way it's written on the album cover is really cool. And one guy's yawning. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, right. That's a good cover.
I'm in. I like it.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. It's very timeless.
The guy on the left looks familiar. That
will never. Oh, Neil Tennant. I wonder if he's any relation to David Tennant. Because it kind of looks like that. Let's see. Oh, he's much older now. Oh, he's from Newcastle. Yeah. Nice. It doesn't say. I don't think he's related at all.
Okay. Well, moving along. 434, Pavement, Crooked Rain. Oh, there's a comma there. Crooked Rain. That's the name of the album. 1994.
I found the connection.
You found the connection?
Actor David Tennant adopted his stage name from this man, Neil Tennant, when joining Equity, which is, I guess, the UK's version of like SAG, because another actor was already registered with his birth name, David McDonald. So I don't know if you know this. When you're an actor, you have to pick a name that no one else has. You can't have the same name as someone else. So like, and they usually give you like a book of like names you can pick from. Like I know famously Elizabeth Banks just like scrolled to the B's and like pointed and was like that one. And it was Banks. It was like, it's not her name. It's just, she chose it because someone, whatever her name was already taken.
Yeah.
So that's kind of funny. But yeah, so he chose Tennant from Neil Tennant. That's cool.
Yeah. I like that.
David Tennant's in a ton of stuff, but you would know him if you haven't seen Doctor Who, because I haven't.
I know him from Doctor Who and Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, yeah, he's Barty Crouch Jr., right?
Yes. He is.
434. Did you do that one already?
I did.
433 then.
Yes.
LCD Sound System, Sound of Silver, 2007. I feel like that band LCD Sound System came up recently, maybe on this show or just in my life, but I don't remember. Anyway, 432, dude. We're covering some ground here on our episodes because a lot of the albums we've covered are in this list. Let's hear it.
That's what I'm saying. 432 is Usher's Confessions. I'm actually surprised this one's not higher up on the list, and this was 2004. I thought it would have been higher up.
Yeah,
but makes sense.
I don't know.
Makes sense that it's on the list. Just thought it might have had a couple of higher.
Where would you put this one on the list? Without knowing anything else, just 1 to 500. Where would you put Usher Confessions?
Maybe in the 300. Maybe in the 300s.
300s?
Early 300s.
Yeah, because I think a lot of it is like, I think you might, like, someone might say, like, oh, put it at 100. And then you start seeing other albums come in. And you're like, okay, well, that's going to bump it down until you end up here at 432. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like that could have happened. But yeah, amazing album. 431, Los Lobos, How Will the Wolf Survive? 1984.
430, Bad Bunny again. Un Verano Sin Ti, 2022. So a very recent album.
Nice. I was going to say that album cover would hold up, and of course it would because it's 2022. 429, this album cover would not. The Four Tops, Reach Out. You know what went away? An immediate way to make your album cover have a retro feel is put a bunch of tiny text on it like that.
Oh, yeah.
That is the fastest way. Like some album covers will literally list every single song. Like I think this one actually does. I think that's what we're looking at. It's too tiny to tell.
Oh, yep. I know. Yeah. Where
they list every song.
Name.
Sometimes they'll list the runtime. Like it's just crazy. Just put a ton of tiny text on your front album cover and it looks ancient.
428, Husker Du, New Day Rising, 1985. These three Minneapolis dudes.
I was about to say.
Hardcore punk.
Savagely emotional hardcore punk.
An influence on Nirvana. Huh. We'll have to give that a listen, see what Nirvana was hearing that they liked.
And in fact, their guitar player was an early candidate to produce Nevermind before Butch Vig got the job. Of course, Butch Vig in Seattle. And that killer like cavern cave studio they did it in, which is, if you go back and listen to Nevermind and stuff, the guitar tones, the drums, everything is just larger than life. 427, Al Green, Call Me. Here we go. A real album by Al Green, topped his greatest hits. 1973.
There you go. His greatest hits was so good that it made the list on top of some of his other actual albums, I guess.
Nice.
426, Lucinda Williams. Probably not with the song.
Lucinda Williams. I'm the shit.
What do you sing? Yeah, I was like, what do you sing about if you name a song after yourself?
And another trifecta at 425, Paul Simon. The album's Paul Simon, 1972.
Yeah, the closest he ever got to was There Goes Ryman Simon.
What if on his deathbed, his last breath, he says, "It's actually Simone," and then dies?
Oh my God.
And everyone's like, what?
No.
Because I found that out about Chad Kroeger from Nickelback. In an interview, he was like, it's Kruger, but I don't really care, and I never corrected anybody.
Just never corrected anyone.
And like the Kelsey brothers say their dad and like granddad and stuff, it should actually be pronounced Kels. But yep. I think they just started saying it wrong and just never fixed it and just never cared.
Yeah, I remember hearing that story on there. He's like, yeah, it just ended up kind of sticking with us forever. It's like, oh, I see.
Yeah, I don't know personally. I don't have a name that's a problem with, but I don't feel like I would really care either if anybody got my name wrong. Especially because like if you have a name like that, enough people have gotten it wrong that you kind of understand. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, you know, I'm not going to be a douche about it because then I'll never not be a douche because everyone's going to get it wrong.
Yeah.
And that's not their fault.
All right. Moving along. 424, Beck, Odelay, 1996.
Nice. 423, Yo La Tengo. I Can Hear the Heart Beating as One, 1997. That's a very 97 album cover.
Yeah, it is. It looks like the cover of a foreign language book, like in school.
It really does. That's hilarious. Yo La Tengo, Spanish 1.
Spanish 1. Yep. It literally looks like a textbook. All right. 422.
Me gusta la manzana.
422, Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On, making the list. 1973.
I love that. I love that.
Go.
Great. Marvin Gaye, we're going to do an episode on him. Just one of the most tragic endings to his story ever. 421, MIA, God damn it. Arular, 2005.
Yeah, I guess.
Definitely not a ruler.
No, that's why I was like, yeah, but you say that, but then you ask the artist and they're
it's
like,
gotta
yeah,
be like
Arular.
Adular. Roll the R.
Yeah. 420, Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's the Way of the World, 1975.
That's a sick cover.
Okay.
If they had different clothes and less froze, that would be super modern looking.
Bro, I just got to say something. I feel like 1975 was the greatest year of music ever. I swear I feel like we go through these lists and 1975, the year pops up a lot for a lot of albums and a lot of songs.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
I'm going to do more research to back up that wild claim I just tossed out there, but I'm kind of thinking 1975 might have been the greatest year of music ever.
For me, it's like 87. That's the year that I see, because that's the one I clock in because that's when Appetite for Destruction came out.
Yep.
And I always notice when stuff comes out 87, and it was like a ton of good stuff. I think Purple Rain.
Oh, dude, maybe we have a discussion episode. We'll come at each other with 2 different years and all the research from the year.
Oh, that's smart. And then we have to vote at the end, you and me. Let me make a list here. Let me add it to our list.
Yeah. I'm going to move along because this next one, 419, Eric Church, Chief. And this is the one that the song Springsteen is from. This was 2011.
Drink in My Hand, which I really like.
Drink in My Hand, yep.
And also, he just opened his new bar, Chiefs, on Broadway in Nashville. And Morgan Wallen just got arrested for throwing a chair off the 6th floor of it, like 2 nights ago.
Who did?
Morgan Wallen.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, don't throw a chair off the 6th story of a building on Broadway.
Yeah,
like,
there's
people
literally
below.
people walking right below. Like tons of people and waiting in line to get into the bar. Like, come on, dude.
It landed right next to 2 cops, and they were like, what?
Yeah, I can't believe that it didn't hit anybody because Broadway Street is just busy. Like,
well, he got charged with 1 misdemeanor and 3 felonies.
Whoa.
For I guess it was something along the lines of reckless endangerment and stuff.
Yeah,
dude, if you throw anything off a quarter off the 6th floor, it's going to get enough velocity to like
really hurt someone. Yeah,
let alone a chair, dude. And it was one of those like chairs at like a restaurant bar top, like not a little like one of those metal 4-legged things. The really light ones.
Yeah,
like that kind of chair. Anyway, that was really stupid.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
418, not one of my favorite bands. Dire Straits.
No, it kills me.
Brothers in Arms, 1985. Not a big fan of that.
I'm not a big fan of that album, but for anybody who's curious, this is the album that Money for Nothing's on. I like the album Dire Straits, I believe.
Nice, and the song Dire Straits. Hell of a resonator on the front of that. That's a sick guitar.
Yeah, I
almost bought one of those.
I feel like it's so tragic that you don't like them. I feel like they have good guitar tones. It probably is just
probably just a case of not knowing enough of them. But what I've heard, I just can't stand his voice.
Oh,
it's like it's like Molly Hatchet, like killer stuff, killer music. But then he starts singing, and I'm just like, dude, sounds like Kermit the Frog, dude.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe I have a good ability to ignore parts that I don't like and focus on the parts I do like. The music, like you said, the instrumental of Dire Straits is what you listen for. The guitar playing is what you listen for. But yeah, the singer is kind of meh.
Yeah, killer. Well, the same guy plays all the guitar and sings. Mark Knopfler. He's killer player. Doesn't play with a pick either.
You,
so really
you
good
just Dallas just shows
stuff.
up at their concerts and goes, "Shut up and play."
I'm that guy.
Yeah, he's that guy. No one cares about your singing.
Instantly kicked out.
Yeah.
But yeah, just not a fan. Yeah, I don't know. I do enough music day to day that I don't seek out stuff that I have to actively listen through something I don't like. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you.
Where it's like, oh, let me listen to this because the guitar's cool, but God, every time this guy opens his mouth, like I'll just listen to something else. Like there's enough stuff out there, you know.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving along. 417 Ornette Coleman, The Shape of Jazz to Come, 1959. Ooh, old. I
believe that's the oldest one so far. Have we had anything older than 59 yet?
I don't think so. Other than some compilation albums that included some years around then. But
416 The Roots, Things Fall Apart, 1999. And this is Questlove's Roots, right? That band? I think it's got to be.
Yes, it is. This is them before. Well, no, that is the Roots. Yeah. What were they before? It was the Squared Roots. Remember we did the
something like that.
Bad band names. They showed up. I think they were the Square Roots, and then they became the Roots. 415 The Meters, Look a Pie Pie, I guess. 1969.
Very cool. 414 Chic, Risque, 1979.
Okay, Atlantic Records.
Nice. Rogers.
Oh, yep. 413 Creedence Clearwater Revival, Cosmos Factory, 1970. What an album cover.
What's on this one? Traveling Band, Long as I Can See the Light. That's nice.
Looking Out My Back
Love
Door.
One. Heard it through the grapevine. Long as I Can See the Light might be my favorite song by them.
Yep, that is my favorite song by them, I think. There's a lot of good songs on there.
Yeah, lots of hits. 412, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, Going to a Go-Go.
All right. 411, Bob Dylan, Love and Theft, 2001.
Wow.
Yeah, I did know he was still putting out albums. Somewhat. I wonder.
Okay. Seems like it's original album too, not just a
when's his
compilation.
last?
So that's cool.
I gotta look him up now because I've never been a big Bob Dylan fan.
Me either. He's got to be on our list.
Yeah. Once again, just because
I don't think he actually is.
Like you said, it's See, I can listen if there's not the best singing but good music. The issue is you only listen to Bob Dylan for the lyrics, and so the music's not good and the singing's not great. So therefore,
it's like, what are you doing, dude? Just listen
just
to
there
something
for the
else.
storytelling, man. Like that's just not my kind of music.
Read the lyrics then at that point.
My goodness, this guy has a lot of albums.
I'll keep rolling while you figure it out. 410, The Beach Boys, Wild Honey, 1967. After Pet Sounds, I bet Pet Sounds is going to be a very highly ranked one here.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about, I don't know how high, but higher than this one for sure.
All right. So he did just have an album come out in 2023, and it was his 40th album.
Goddamn.
Jeez. Yeah.
Woo, 409.
Goodness gracious. 409. Yeah. Ooh.
Grateful Dead, Working Man's Dead, 1970.
I don't know if I'm
one of my students is very into the Grateful Dead, and he was telling me all about how they don't get in the studio that often to do albums because it's, obviously so much more of a live band.
Yep. Yeah, my wife is a huge fan of Grateful Dead and got me into them. I still don't know a whole bunch about the band other than, they're just a traveling band that like a jam band that just plays a lot of live stuff.
Well, the idea of like bootleg recordings and stuff, I believe, started with them, or at least are in their kind of
they encouraged it for that, like with their music. They wanted people to like record them at their shows and stuff and spread the music.
I love bands that come up with creative ways to problems. Like one of the best examples I heard is Iron Maiden did a bunch of research on where their music was getting pirated the most, and then they went there and played shows.
That's awesome.
So like that's win-win-win because then people are buying tickets. Iron Maiden sells more merch than anybody. Yeah. And there was one night of one show, I believe I read this somewhere. They did $700,000 in merch.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
everybody's like got an Iron Maiden shirt. You know what I mean? And there's a million of them. So they've done a really good job. Well, you know, who might actually do more is Kiss. That's the only band I could think of that might come close to that. Like,
all right, 408. Anyway. 408 Motorhead, Ace of Spades, 1980. There's a big album.
That's nice. Fun fact, my bass player has played Lemmy's bass and amp. And we've played the club he used to hang out at all the time in Blackpool, England. We've played that club a couple times. 407, Neil Young, Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere, 1969. I got to say, you know, we talked about separating the art from the artist. I have a hard time doing it with Neil Young, and I'm not a fan. We did just play Cinnamon Girl at a wedding like last week, though.
What's a song I would know immediately?
Cinnamon Girl, probably.
Every time I think I've heard a Neil Young song, I feel like I hear it and I'm like, I don't think so.
That's how I am with the Grateful Dead song.
Yeah, I know, right?
Everyone's like, dude, you know the Grateful Dead.
Yeah,
listen to this song. I'm like, dude, I've never heard this in my life.
Yeah, that's how I am with Neil Young.
Yeah, not a fan.
406, Magnetic Field, 69 love songs with their album artwork is just a big 69 in black, like the numbers. Yeah, real original. That's awesome. Came out in 1999 though, so kind of a fail there.
This next album art is actually straight up amazing. 405.
Oh my god!
It says various. We'll get into it in a second. Nuggets, original artifacts with a Y from the first psychedelic era, 1972. Disagree with this being on the list because I've been through it a million times, but it's a collection of 60s garage rock compiled by rock critic and soon to be Patti Smith guitarist Lenny Kaye. Became a touchstone for 70s punk. So I mean, I understand that it's like essentially a mixtape that blew up.
Yeah,
but does that
belong here? Probably not.
In the 500 greatest albums of all time.
It's obviously here only for the artwork, album artwork.
The artwork, you guys have to look it up. It's called Nuggets, original artifacts, ARTY, from the first psychedelic era. Look that up. It's the album art is truly amazing.
Yeah, the only reason it made the list, obviously. 404, Anita Baker, Rapture, 1986.
403, Ghost-Faced Killer, Supreme Clientele, and that's 2000. And that is really, really not good album art there.
Yep.
It's very tacky.
Yeah, I mean, we got to think the programming back. Well, I say that, yet we've seen album artworks look really good, as like really old ones look really good. So I guess
just scroll right up to Anita Baker Rapture. Absolute timeless album art that would never not look good in any decade at any time.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just perfect. And that was, 14 years before the next one. Yeah, I think rap artists actually kind of have the worst album art.
Yeah, like, they usually do. For me, it's just this giant Microsoft Paint added logo. Like the light. Yeah, the light. Yeah. Yeah. Like I could use Microsoft Paint to make better effects.
The Photoshop stars on the S and the T.
Yeah.
And the H and the O at the bottom too.
All right, moving along.
He just tried to make it all look like the text is like a chain kind of metal thing, and like, see, the picture of him is great. Keep that, and then just do different shit with the rest of it, and you got a cool album cover.
Even just that with like all black and no words would like look better.
For sure.
402, Fela Kuti and Africa 70, Expensive Shit, 1975.
Would not have expected that to be 1975. But I love that it is. That's so cool. The album on them, that's actually kind of cool. The Expensive Shit looks cool.
Expensive Shit. Yeah, that's a cool font that they used.
Yeah, I love it. Ugh. 401, Blondie, 1977. I also didn't know Blondie was that old, the band. That album art holds up.
That one does not have they don't have a song called Blondie, right? All these.
No way.
We got to get some more influence on some of these bands.
Because her name's Debbie Harry, but I think a lot of people just call her Blondie, even though the band is called Blondie. It's kind of like Hootie and the Blowfish. Everybody calls Darius Rucker Hootie. Yep. So I'm thinking, what do you think we call it there? We're just over an hour. And we can split this album into a more leisurely paced, more in-depth 5-part series of 100 each.
Yeah, I like that.
And that might give the listeners a little bit of break, because I know it's a lot.
Yeah, that sounds good. We can wrap it up here and at 4:01. So we're
gonna resume. Yeah, we're gonna resume next episode. Well, 2 weeks from now, I guess, with number 400. And if you're following along, do us a favor and try not to look ahead if you don't want to, because we're not. We're gonna be surprised as we go along. So
yep, there's a load more button, so we can't even see what number 400 is, and we won't click that until we go live for the next time.
That's right. Well, I think today we've actually added a few things to our topics list, so I'm really excited about that.
I agree. In the meantime, just wanted to remind you guys to give us a subscription on our YouTube channel, and then like and follow on Instagram and TikTok, as well as 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We enjoy them on any platform. Those two are just the king and queen of podcast platforms right now, as well as our Patreon, which we have a $5 tier that will give you access to our Discord, allow you to get a shout out on our episode from us, and you can also throw your input on new topics, new episodes, and anything you want us to cover.
Boom. I tell you, this podcast has been getting more fun by the week, and I'm really excited to look at where we'll be come episode 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. And
we're gonna be music geniuses.
I know. I'm gonna be like that meme where it's like episode 100 and it's the skull with like a little bit of enlightenment, and then the last one at the end he's just like doing the meditation pose with like light explosions all around him. That's me. That's me. Episode 600 of Melomaniax, and you're like That's so cool. I love it though. And you know what? I'm calling it right now. Episode 500. We need to circle back to one of these 500 lists and redo it based on all of the new stuff we've learned.
We'll do our own 500.
Oh, I love that. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. It's going to be so biased.
Oh yeah, dude. We could do that, or by then we could do a vote that includes some
have a Melomaniax
too.
500. Yeah.
We could do a Melomaniax 500.
Now we're talking. There you go. So join the Patreon, everybody. You see where we're going with all this stuff. It's going to be a super fun ride. We're not going anywhere. And until next time, I'm Dallas, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
And I'm Ashton. Take care.